everyone to Thunderballs Are Go, episode 10. I've got Silent Al with me. How are you doing, Silent Al?
Peachy Keen, Jelly Bean.
Excellent. Hopefully we can be heard and things have not gone totally pear-shaped in the time between streaming and I've forgotten how to do everything, but I'll let chat tell us. And if it's not working, then that would be about right and pretty average for tag. So
I was gonna say that's our normal thing. I don't think people would recognize us if we didn't have some sort of technical problem to start the show.
If it was seamless, people would begin to worry. Okay, so let's get this out of the way and let's have a look at what we've got going. So it's been a hot minute here. It's been about a month since the playoffs, has it not, Al?
Has it? I don't know.
I got
time has lost all meaning.
I got busy.
The season's done. We're recruiting for the next season. I don't even know why we're doing this show.
I know, right? It's more closure and just to completely finish it off. To be fair, but
I guess, yeah.
We did have a couple comments that people wanted to see it happen, so it felt like we should do it.
Yeah, probably. I guess.
I guess
we didn't do anything correctly all season. I don't know why we're trying to finish it off correctly.
Why we're trying to finish the season off correctly. I mean, you make some very good points, Al. Very good points.
I am nothing if I make horribly accurate points.
Horribly accurate points to the bone. I mean, before we dive into the actual playoff, let's talk through some season highlights. I know when Cranky wrapped up the season, when the commissioner finished it all up, he said that we'd had 1,506 games of Star Realms, 1,233 throws, 273 races, and that throwers won 51.2% of throws, scoring 380 hits, while targets scooped up 162 catches.
That is a lot of Star Realms. Do you ever think that maybe Dodgeball was just devised as a way for Cranky to gather massive amounts of data about Star Realms play? Like, we're all just like test subjects in his like wicked like system.
He's suggesting that we're merely hamsters for the Cranky Day machine of statistics, that he is in fact using us for perhaps some sort of higher purpose of, I don't know, it could be a dissertation or something like that he's going to then go on and win some Nobel Prize about.
Something like that.
Something convoluted like that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the man. He does love his numbers.
Yeah.
And he's certainly got access to a lot of those now.
Yes, he does.
He does indeed. So, I mean, we started off in week 1. Honestly, Al, my favourite part of week 1 was when Mcolo tried to tag Sandra Sullivan and ended up bringing Sandra Torres into the world of dodgeball.
Sandra Torres has now been woven into the fabric of dodgeball, and I love it. It might be my favorite part of the entire season.
100%. Like, we're playing spot Sandra Torres every week. Like, it's inevitably someone tags her. Like, I can't wait for the moment when her aides tell her that she's got a cult following in this game called Star Realms.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone even tagged her in the new sign-up like list for the next season.
I know that happened. That definitely happened. Someone tried to add Sandra Torres as a player.
Yeah, so...
It was absolutely my favorite. Week 2, there wasn't a huge amount that popped out at me, but honestly, Polito's blaming himself when he got caught and eliminated. Not for the first or last time that season. That tickled me pink, actually.
Yeah, that was a pretty good moment.
Chris falling on his own sword in spectacular fashion. Week 3, I mean, I would love it, Al. I would love the hubris of one of my own teammates suggesting that through to a kill, direct quote, didn't look all that intimidating. That would have been my favorite until 5 players were eliminated before Mighty Stick even finished his race.
Yes. Well, we go from the high point of Sandra Torres becoming part of Dodgeball. We then go to the low point of Mighty Stig grinding Dodgeball to a near halt.
It's true. It's true. Week 4. Now, week 4 didn't jump out at me, but I do have something from Captain's Chat scribbled down about a captain only being aware about 3 of the continental US time zones. And to be honest, the rest of the round seemed fairly pedestrian after that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to that captain, there's only 3 real important time zones in the US.
Sure. Yeah. You're not counting that Eastern time zone, are you? That's
no. The Mountain Time Zone.
the Mountain Time Zone. That's the fake made-up one.
Yeah, that's just flyover time zone.
It's in the middle. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That's fair. Week 5, License to Overkill and On Her Majesty's Secret Outpost. Despite you and I giving them extra time, still weren't finished. When the time that the episode came to air. And if I remember rightly, Binks, in a rare show of loyalty to his team, caught Mighty Stig's ball to extend that game. It was usually Binks throwing catches all season, if I remember rightly.
This is correct.
That was one of his hallmarks as captain. Many captains have a hallmark. Binks was being a filthy traitor. Now, week 6, Al. There was quite a bit going on in week 6. There was you became the object of an arguably objectified topic of discussion in Foils Are Forever's chat. Then there was Mkolo throwing more balls than an entire team. License to Overkill. I'm looking at you. And then there was also Whoever Poisoned Dodge Another Day's Spa Vacation Rest Week. Those were all pretty good. But to get soft for a minute, I think it was you and Ian becoming legends was my favorite part of that week.
I don't want to seem too selfish, but that might have been my favorite part of the week too.
It seems reasonable.
As much as I loved all the other stuff, the legend thing was pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
give me that one. That's a fair one. Week 7. I think week 7, if I remember rightly, was the week where Steph started giving it face pie about throwing boring balls. Then threw some catches to Adam, and Adam had to remind her that was it the preseason before season 1, Steph became like a farm for catches. They kept her alive just for the catches.
Yeah.
I think if I remember rightly, that was the round 7 juice that I so dearly loved. Now, week 8, was this the week there was more legends, or was it the last one?
I don't remember which was, because you're the one with the notes, so I don't.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I made all the notes, but it may not happen.
So which week did we have a brand new Star Realms player and a brand new Dodgeball player born in the middle of a match?
That was definitely week 8.
Was that week 8?
It was week 8, yeah.
That was my favorite part. If we could frame it in this way, because this is my favorite part, because it isn't just the fact that we got a new future legend.
Yeah.
It was that we had a player who was able to give birth and create life and still kept better pace playing games than Mighty Stig ever did.
Who took 5 turns in a week? 5 turns in a whole week.
Which week was it that he posted that he had won a tournament, a live in-game tournament? Was that week? All of that. That is my favorite.
Aren't I brilliant? I won a tournament. Yeah, great. Can you take a turn instead of leaving it to go to 48 hours every single time?
I have to say, that was my favorite. My second favorite part, though, was when Mom, of all people, yelled at him for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My role as the enforcer of rules and things like that meant nothing when
No.
you get the mom shame in there.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Elizabeth, who rarely says a bad word to anyone, was
Anyone.
very disappointed.
It's the classic mom move. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Just disappointed. Yeah.
Like I said, second favorite moment.
I got week 8 might have been my favorite week actually. Come to think
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, that was definitely my favorite week. As much as I loved winning Legends, that one was just way more delicious of a week.
New future legend, Star Realms player born, like Elizabeth taking Stiggy to task. It was all great. It was absolutely fantastic.
All of it.
And then I don't know. I think the last, like week 9, there was the drama of the finale and who was going to make the finals. But I think the Foils Are Forever game for me. So that was Deathworld with Love and Foils Are Forever. And there was Dakaran, who I don't know how we missed this in one of our weekly favorites, but Dakaran, who was Dankaran, the whole Ninja Gate where he threw at the wrong player.
Oh yeah.
And then he became the other Ukrainian. Oh no, he became the Ukrainian killer, and Tatiana was the other Ukrainian killer. There was a whole. I think I wrote almost 2 pages on that one because it was so good.
It was
fantastic. And I think Tatiana had more catches. That took catches to insane amount for the week, for the season rather. Yeah, and then that lands us where we're at now, which is, or we were a week ago, because we're super timely and organized and professional.
Totally.
With having a playoff. But there's the off season, and there's some. We'll probably chat a bit about the upcoming season and who's signed up already. But there's always srdbtattler@gmail.com if you've got any gossip and news that you want to throw our way. We'll always be more than happy to take that, curate it, put it into our archives, and make sure that it sees the light of air at some point in the future. But I suppose we should do what we were here to do, which is talk about Through to a Kill and Lethal Is Not Enough. Now, Through to a Kill began 0-2, if I remember rightly, and Vori turned around to his team and he said, "Right, boys and girls, we are not losing another match." And then they just started winning. And Lethal Is Not Enough. They booked their place against Dodge Another Day, who unfortunately this week Al are on a rest week, along with everyone else. But I think Dodge Another Day probably would have loved to have been here instead. But Lethal really they were consistent. They just dropped a couple games, winning against the teams that they needed to.
Yeah.
And Darklighter brought them home to the playoff. So the one and only. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, veteran captain, you can't go wrong with that.
Absolutely,
yeah. Consistent all season.
100%, yeah. Really, really, really solid. And I think looking at their roster, if I remember, everyone's had a solid. Bork had a solid week. The Mystic had some good weeks. Artemis had some great weeks. Marauder Mo does what Marauder Mo does and never makes the headlines and is just consistent and like boring but workmanlike, So they've just had some solid performances. But we begin with the races. We've got Ball 1, which is Ride the Beans against Polites. We've got Ball 2, Darklighter against Compton P. The Mystic and DG3 race for Ball 3, whilst MTG in real life and Vorazori on Ball 4. Ball 5 is Kamas versus Sabella, and Ball 6 is Artemis versus Acox. And then Ball 7 is Marauder Mo against Raka. Now, Darklighter gets his Rolling Owl, winning race 2 against Compton P, while Polites absolutely slaughters a bean-loving dinosaur like it's sacrifice time at the altar of Dodgeball. I think it was something like 95-0. So it wasn't a missions win, it was just a straight-up absolute clattering to the face. which we'll see later how well that came to pass. Now Vori, not to be outdone by his opposing captain, bit of pride at stake there. Obviously, wanted to win his race. He took ball 4 before Maraudimo and the Mystic, along with Acox, all won their races. That leveled the ball count at 3 apiece. Now Vori here apparently was very, very excited being in the final, I think, and he tried to hoodwink Darklighter and the Commissioner into starting the game before Sabella and Kamas had finished their race. And if I remember, I think he said that everyone was in agreement, and then like Cranky had to come in and say, "Wait a minute, I think no one has agreed to this. In fact, Mr. Vorazori, wind your neck in. Let's wait for this game to finish." And finish it did. If I remember rightly, Sabella took the ball with a race win for ball 5. So Polites was actually on Team Silent Al here because he was the only player that I could see who didn't throw back at his race partner. Now, Al, I know that's one of your pet peeve or bugbear, but that's you like to see people throwing at people who they didn't race against, right?
Right. It's interesting. I mean, part of dodgeball is to play different people, to interact with people you don't normally do, and it's just honestly, it's just boring and lazy to just throw back at the person you just played against.
Well, I think that might have had something to do with because maybe Politos having beaten Ride the Beans, having choked the lizard at race time, I think he maybe wasn't keen to have another crack at it so soon. So it might not have been purely altruistic.
Well, I mean, I've also heard choking your lizard before a race can really diminish your abilities.
It can certainly hurt your performance. We'll see how that works. Now, MTG and Raka both dodged the balls coming at them, taking control, whilst Compton P is nowhere near as lucky and gets absolutely the full force of Mr. B Darklighter in the face, trudging to the bench. MTG, throwing Vori's ball back at him, eliminates him, as Acox was obviously watching the previous round and takes Artemis out early to prevent any last stand heroics. Artemis being quite crucial, if I remember, in round 9, booking Lethal's place in the finals by getting that tie and then taking to the race off. The Mystic can't find the target against DG3, but Maraudimo salsas left to catch Raka's ball and bench Cha-Cha, his dance partner, immediately. So maybe Raka will be less keen to throw back at his race partner, stroke dance partner in the future after that absolute beating. Polites eliminates the Mystic to close the gap to 3-2 to Lethal is not enough, but cannot evade the attentions of Maraudimo's Lucky Ball 7, and perhaps surprisingly is hit for the very first time in the whole season. Now, this is not to say, before anyone jumps on the bandwagon of, like, did Polites not die all season? Oh, he died plenty, didn't he, Al?
Plenty.
Yeah. It was
both
mostly
physically and emotionally.
both physically and mostly through throwing catches. Now, if I remember, I did a little analysis at one point, and I think Polites was leading the I throw catches table. Admittedly, it was tied with everyone's favorite traitor, Pinkley. but Polites not being a captain didn't get as much of a hard time, perhaps.
This is true.
This is fair. So next we've got Darklighter and Acox, who both relieved DG3 and MTG of their balls, only to throw them straight back. MTG, having been knocked out, rolls her ball ominously towards Bug Beans before strolling to the bench. Now Darklighter, Al, would you say he's seemingly like a kind and benevolent community member?
I mean, he's probably kinder and more benevolent than me, so we'll say yes.
Okay, but that's not really saying a great deal there.
All right, that's true.
But anyway,
I mean, yeah, he gives a lot to the community. He is a lot more forgiving than most people. He is a very nice, sweet man.
He is. However, none of that was on display as he saw Acox on a roll and mercilessly gunned him down before he could kill again. So just straight for the throat. Like, the competitive spirit there was fully on show. Darklighter just took him out. Sabella taking out Kamas, and this is now a 3-on-1. So we've got Sabella up against Darklighter, Yoshibina, and dance partner Marauder Mo. So it's this time that Ride the Beans, having been completely like the only reason he's got a ball, and I think this happened quite a lot this season, is that one of his dead teammates handed him one. Like no one was throwing at him at all. And he takes aim at Sabella and absolutely takes her head clean off. And unfortunately for through to a kill, Sabella's only got two balls. And she can only throw two balls. So she throws at Darklighter and Marauder Mo. She takes out Mo. She doesn't quite take out Darklighter. And lethal is not enough. You're season 7 champions.
Yay! Congratulations.
Said Al with so much joy in his voice. The match MVP was Darklighter, I think, Al?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's the captain of the team. He also was alive at the end. He got his race win. He had 3 hits. He had a couple of dodges. What's not to like?
What's not to like? And I mean, really, we can't do a Moneyball award because Moneyball is kind of that needs the full force of 8 teams playing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do. I know people might be looking here for season awards. We might talk about what we enjoyed in the season. I know there are a couple of. If we were giving an award, it would not be.
Yeah, we should say, we give season awards at the draft for next season.
Yes.
So look for those. So that's why we're not doing end of the season awards here.
Well, and also those are commissioned, those are official awards that have been earned through play, and the awards we give every week are kind of tongue-in-cheek.
We're going to give awards that are not earned through play, but earned through attitude.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, look for the season awards at the draft, which I believe will probably be after the New Year out. I think is when we're looking to get that kicked off. If I remember rightly, but
I think around early January.
Yeah, I think so. Once all the Christmas hoopla is out the way and everyone's kind of full of turkey and presents, and then we can get back to the serious business of dodgeball. I mean, one award I think I'd like to give out this season from a Thunderballs Are Go point of view, Al, is just every single game I read of this team in was an absolute joy. I don't know if I had more fun reading their stuff or they had more fun writing their stuff, but Foils Are Forever had me in stitches all season. Like, absolutely dying every week.
That was a fun team, and I feel like they really took dodgeball to heart in that it is all about fun and getting along and just ribbing and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the banter was there, the smack talk was there. They didn't take themselves seriously or the opposition particularly. No, that was absolutely great. And I think it would be remiss to mention season 7 without mentioning the Slow Play Award, Al.
We are just going to name that the Mighty Stick Award.
I think so. Much like an SRPC Grand Prix, when it's won by the greatest victory, and so I'm not sure anyone can ever beat Stig's performance this season. It was simply exemplary in its class.
I don't see that happening. The only thing I could think of is if someone passed away mid-season and no one knew about it.
Yeah, I mean that would, but even then they've got an excuse, right?
They would at least have an excuse, but
they would have a plausible excuse as to why they could not continue.
Maybe how about maybe not passing away, just like a kidnapping, like to the point where they were like gone for like 6 days, and then suddenly came back and got their phone back.
Yeah, no, that works, or maybe some sort of
like got back just in time to enter a real-time tournament.
Some episode of Amnesia,
maybe
walk into an A&E clinic, 2 weeks later, abducted by aliens even.
Right.
But again, that sounds plausible. So those are my two that I really wanted to talk about for sure. Is there?
I mean, I think Jonna Ann giving birth in the middle of a dodgeball match, um,
And never missing a beat.
not missing a beat, still eliminated me. Like,
She created a whole human and still beat you to a pulp.
and still beat me to a pulp.
Hmm.
I'm still the I still, I still have the Steam key ready to give to Trey, little Trey.
Right? Yes.
Really, I still think his IGN should be Silent Trey.
Silent Trey.
Um, but yeah, that was one of my favorite moments. Um, Sandra Torres, that just becoming
It's written into the glossary of dodgeball.
Yeah.
Around dodgeball terms now, isn't it?
And the thing is, as dodgeball continues to go on, trying to explain why this has become a thing will just sound more and more ridiculous,
Yeah,
and that is what will make it just more like and more funny
absolutely.
as seasons go on.
Yeah, 100%. And Juan is very, very keen to. They even got an honorary award. They did
Yeah.
in the dodgeball awards. They got an award. Yeah, like Juan is all on board for trying to plant it in there as well. It's not just Emily; it's everyone's on board.
Oh yeah, everyone.
There, so it's fantastic.
I mean, another thing I really loved was M. Colo's. Did she set a record for most throws, most dodges? It was in week 7.
It was.
I remember
That was
I was at Gen Con and I just kept checking my chat, and she just kept posting, "All right, still alive. All right, still." I was just like, I must be reading the same message like over and over. Like, my connection must not be good in the convention center here. Something's going on.
You're actually stuck in Groundhog Day, Al.
Yeah.
What was happening is you were just reliving the same day of dodges and throws all over again.
Yeah.
No, that was the week she threw more balls than licensed to overkill in their entire match that week.
Yeah.
I think it was something like 13 or 15 or something like that. It was crazy bonkers.
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. So she definitely had an outstanding week that week. I thought the rookies did. The rookies did quite well. It was nice to see, and we've got some more signed up for the next season as well that I've seen so far.
That's true.
I've got my eye on a few. I mean, I'm not going to be a captain obviously because I'm precluded from that. But
oh, what a really nice just way to slide in there that you have won. Just real slick there. Oh, I won a season, so I can't be a captain again, but
yeah,
no big deal.
It was luck though, right? I could actually. Adam's doing me a favor because if I were to captain, I'd never be able to repeat that success. So, one and done is good with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Looking at some of the rookies is going to be really, really interesting to see. I know for a fact there are some sass mongers amongst them already. So
wow, that's the best.
Yeah. So I think the chat next season is only going to get better and better as well, which honestly is half of the reason why we do this and keep returning every season. It's the fun and it's the frolics, and it's not necessarily the winning or losing. It's the having the fun on the way.
Right.
Always go out on top. See, Adam knows what he's talking about. So yeah, with that in mind, I don't know how many. Maybe Adam can tell us how many people are signed up so far for Dodgeball Season 8. But there seems to be a fair crop so far. I've only seen a couple of people say they can't make it again from last season. I think Kamas has got a job that's not compatible with playing some dodgeballs.
I think we have 54 people signed up already.
That's pretty cool. That's a whole bunch of players. 55,
oh, maybe. 55. Somebody must have signed up since I got that last report. So.
That's cracking. So what? That's 7. That's 8. That's almost 8 teams of 7. Is that right?
Yeah. I know we like to go for 9. We like to have those off weeks, but and I think we're still looking for captains if anybody's interested. People
Yeah,
that haven't
absolutely.
already won.
Or I believe the rules state all were captains in the last two seasons.
That's true, but much like any other rule in dodgeball, it is
It's
negotiable
flexible.
if it gets Cranky closer to his goal.
No, for sure. And honestly, for anyone who's not been a captain but who's played in dodgeball, being a captain is a super fun time.
Yeah.
Win, lose or draw, it's being able to craft your team. And some people go for very different strategies. I think Sandra, when she was a captain, didn't necessarily go for skill. She just went for people who would amuse her, like monkeys
That's
dancing.
that's what I always tell the captains before the draft. Pick people you want to hang out with for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's
Well, two
you
months.
get to pick your friends.
Yeah. Go for a solid chat game.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Don't forget the lounge. Oh, the captain's lounge. Is that a selling point, Adam? I don't know if that's a selling point. Is it a selling point?
I didn't think that was a selling point, but
The commissioner seems to feel that the captain's lounge is a major selling point. So we
oh,
should.
or he may be mentioning if you feel like you are overwhelmed or cannot be a captain, there is support available in the captain's lounge.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because captains have each other's backs in there. So.
Yeah, it's a way to communicate with other captains, but it's also, a way to speak with the commissioners or things like that. So you're not just completely thrown to the wolves.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No. It's there's support networks there for you as well, and you're given a lot of tools by the commissioner ahead of picking your draft. So there's lots of information there should you choose to go for that route. But yeah, honestly, give it a bash. The worst thing that can happen is that you're a traitor like Binkley, bomb out and give everyone all your balls, and it's already been done. So you can't possibly do worse again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's season eight's coming. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, hopefully we'll be back with this for that one. We'll be back for the draft maybe, and I guess if anyone's got lots of juice in the meantime, then we can talk about that. I'm not sure if the throwing and dodging practices. How do you do in that, Al?
Um, I moved I moved ahead on throwing and dodging to the next round of each, and then did not move past that, so immediately started ignoring it.
Right, because I made it in. Was it? I think throwing. I know. I think it was throwing. I went forward in with that one and did not in the catching. But
Yeah.
that's better than I usually do because usually I'm out in the first round of both of them. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Um,
I've heard rumors that Politis is doing pretty well in the practice, but it's Politis, so I really am having a difficult time.
well, that must have been the catching one because it can't have been the throwing one because we've
Yeah,
already
I think it was in the
established he
catching one.
throws like more catches than God.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Cranky says the last
oh,
results
there you
are
go.
in and he'll post a wrap up tomorrow.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
people will get that. So we don't have to just flounder for guesses on
The
what's going
statistics are
on.
odd. So Artemis, I think the target practice is closed, as it were, because that's a kind of a tournament that Adam runs in between seasons. So it has a definite start and end. However, pickup games are always a thing.
Yes.
So if you can grab some people together, and I'm pretty sure there's usually like a practice game or several practice games ahead of a new season to get like rookies
There's always
understanding the flow, and
yeah.
understanding how to play, like a tutorial game.
There's a rookie game. Usually, we get all the rookies on one or two teams, and with a couple veteran players to just sort of help them move through the paces and understand what's going on.
And now it's important to remind the veterans who play in those that you shouldn't approach that like Cloudy with a chance of meatballs and throwing things at children's faces and scoring wins. It's to teach people,
Yeah.
not to score free wins.
I will point out I've played in many a rookie teaching game, and I think I have yet to actually thrown a dodgeball in one of
But
those.
that's not the purpose of them, is it?
No, it isn't. It's not it's the purpose is to let the rookies throw and catch and learn what's going on. So there's no point in me like chasing after somebody with a dodgeball in that because yeah, it's not the point.
Yeah.
I mean, the other point is I've noticed some captains tend to really sniff around the rookie game thread trying to scout who's going to be good for the drafting.
Hey, scouting's a perfectly legitimate part of dodgeball. I'm not gonna pretend that. Ooh, a rare Bogart is spotted behind the scenes.
Oh,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that I haven't thrown a couple of dodgeball games at rookies without even talking to them in the past. Thestral knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's a thing. You gotta find out who these players are, and more importantly, are they funny?
That's the important part.
Yeah. Do they have a sense of humor? Will they be very amusing in chat?
Yeah.
So I think unless you've got anything, I think that's probably a neat little bow on season 7.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I've absolutely loved doing this for this season. It's been a blast. And so, hopefully season 8 will be just as much fun. We'll find out in the new year. But until then, I mean, hey, everybody have a fantastic Christmas. Sharpen your dodgeballs. Eat as much turkey or whatever it is that you fancy. Spoil your animals and children. And yeah, we'll see you next season at the draft for some good times, some fun, some deathly witty comments from Al, who's always funny. And as my wife said when I was talking to her about writing things for the show, she was like, "Oh, you write that down? I thought you were just funny." I was like, "No, I have to write things down. Al's just funny."
I'm well, the thing is, I've learned I have to be funny because if not, then I'm just mean and no one likes me. If I make it funny, then at least people think I'm joking and I'm not nearly as horrible as I really am.
Never a truer word said in jest. So anyway, guys, have a great Christmas, a New Year, and we'll see you in the New Year for a fresh dodgeball season. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everyone, for playing this season. To all the captains, to all the players. Yeah, wrap bow on season 7, and let's look forward to season 8. And thank you so much. It's good night from
Thank
me.
you.
It's good night from Al.
Good night.